Why measure biodiversity? I'm talking about this topic in this lecture. I will take you through what is biodiversity and try to explain what is biological diversity. Biodiversity and biological diversity are one and the same. Then what are the issues connected with measuring biological diversity? And why in the first place you want to measure diversity? And why measuring and assessing the same is the problems associated with that. And then what are the issues that are usually in the field when we try to measure biological diversity? What are the issues that we will experience here? And finally, where are we in the present context? What are our possibilities with regard to measuring the biological diversity? Now, biological diversity is a term that we have been hearing about for quite a long time. As students of biology, you are very familiar with the term biological diversity. Several examples or definitions are available as far as this particular term is concerned. One very easy definition would be the proportional numbers and kinds of species in nature. That is one of the very easy and relatively hassle-free definition of biological diversity. Proportional numbers and kinds of species. You know what is a species and all. But again, biological diversity is a multifaceted concept that can be defined and documented in a variety of ways. So several definitions are there. So this is, but this one, the proportional numbers and kinds are the most easy, is one of the most easiest definition of that. Now, but again, from the many number of definitions that are available, you shouldn't be confused with the understanding of the concept, what actually is biological diversity. Because understanding or developing a clear idea about what biological diversity is very necessary, because that is the first step towards trying to measure it. So if you cannot understand the concept or you cannot define what biological diversity is, then you may be at loss to measure it. So that is very fundamental. Going back a little bit, almost a decade back in 2010, we celebrated the year of biological diversity. You are familiar with the very famous logo then and on. And there were several objectives. One of the main objectives was to promote the protection of biological diversity and encourage organizations, institutions, companies, and individuals to take direct action to reduce the constant loss of biological diversity worldwide. So this objective, in this particular objective, they have made it very clear that biological diversity is suffering a loss. So we need to gear up, and that is why they said the protection of biodiversity and encourage organization, institutions and all to reduce, to take action, to be in the forefront to reduce biological diversity. So that was the call during the 2010, which is known as the International Year of Biodiversity. But again, I'm not trying to sound negative, but I will say that the targets fell short. Even though we could achieve, definitely we could set the ball in motion. A lot of awareness were created. People became more aware. We tried to stop the actions that created a decline or a degradation of the biological diversity, but it was not enough. We definitely fell short of the targets and all. And one of the main reasons identified was we don't know how to measure biodiversity. So that is the reason. There was a lot of lack of understanding about what actually is biodiversity at the first place. Then another thing is that how to measure biological diversity. So what happened there, we will try to understand with regard to this labs in how to measure biological diversity. Now, I will say that you have heard about the classic story of the blind man and the elephant, and people were trying to define the problem in according to their understanding, because this particular very famous story, different ecologists were trying to define biological diversity in a different way. So that created a lot of confusion. So that is why we can say that ecologists were like the four blind men or the six blind men, each one of them describing biodiversity in his or her own way. So naturally, there was a lot of disagreement. One ecologist was not, agreeing with the other person, and also there was a lot of confusion. So when there is a confusion, how can we agree and say that this is what is existing in nature in terms of biological diversity? So that was the kind of confusion that created. Why this confusion? Because if you examine the literature and all, you can see that there is an explosive speciation of diversity indices. Okay, so a lot of indices are now available, and so which is the best index to measure biodiversity? There was a lot of confusion. So, due to this explosive speciation of diversity indices, naturally, I am using one kind of index, another person is using another kind of index. That means we will not be agreeing. So, I will try to stick to my index, saying that what I found out was good, trying to disagree with the other person. So, naturally, there was a lot of confusion. But in reality, we should understand, as ecologists, we should understand that there is no single measure to capture biodiversity, or you can say to capture the elephantness of this biological diversity. There is no single measure, but you have to have a different set of measures to identify the exact elephantness of the problem. In this case, the elephantness of the biological diversity. Okay. Now, if you look at the literature, there are several traits, or we can call it features, to measure biodiversity. So, how can you measure biodiversity? Measuring biodiversity can involve and can be done using different set of criteria, or traits we call it. In ecology, we call it traits. One very famous or one rather basic trait is richness. Another one is evenness. You know, richness is species richness. That means how many species are there. Evenness of species means you have different sets of species are there, but how evenly they are distributed in nature. Evenness is opposite of dominance. No species is getting dominated, but there are number of species, which is called the species richness. Then you have all these species equally distributed and all. Then species abundance is also there. A lot of species are available. Occurrence is there. Vulnerability is there. Of late, the new term is functional traits. Okay. Functional traits. So, what is functional trait? Functional diversity again is a very emerging field. Functional traits means each and every organism has a role to play in the ecosystem in which that particular species is there. For example, one classical example is our nitrogen fixing species. They have a functional role. Their function is to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So that is a very classical example. So can you measure what is the functional role of every organism? Like earthworm has got a different function as opposed to a bird or another animal. So likewise, different plants, the climbers have a different role to play in nature. So like that, you try to define diversities on the basis of the functional role they play. That is called functional diversity. Then phylogenetic diversity is also there. That heritability, all those things you can put under phylogenetic diversity. Okay. Now, in short, we will say that there is no single method. So if you want to capture the diversity, like you want to measure the vegetation at a place, can we use a single method? It is best not to use a single method, but a multitude of indices will be the most ideal way to capture the whole concept of diversity or biological diversity that is existing at a particular place where you are planning to undertake the particular study. Okay. So there is no single by best index to capture the elephantness. So choosing the right method or a cluster of methods is very important. So no single method, but a combination of methods. Then there is also another side of that choice. Having a number of indices means then you are confused, and different indices capture different indices will explain different things. So naturally there will be a lot of confusion, and to clear that confusion, it is best that you try to understand the different diversity indexes available and use the best combination of the different diversity indexes that you are having, and again choosing the right ones for the right job. So what is your intention in this particular experiment or the experiment that you are going to carry out? So which are the best methods that is better for that particular experiment, then you have to choose. So it is not a single method that is good, but a combination of methods, but that combination should be appropriate for your experimentation. What is your situation, then you have to choose that combination. That is the best way to do it. Now, a bit of history. I will talk about how the progression of biological diversity measurements happen. So, when we talk about biological diversity measurement and all, we cannot forget Charles Darwin, who the history says that he was the first biodiversity quantifier. He tried to, in his expeditions and all, he was always trying to quantify or take care of the biological diversity, or rather take note of the biological diversity there. And in 1855, in his early days and all, he recorded all the plants in a meadow, around 142 species near his home in 1855. So that was a big thing during that particular point of time. And almost 50 years later, Relative Abundance of Species was published by Ronquier in 1909. So that was, we just talked about a lot of traits that can be used to measure diversity. So Darwin was just quantifying the species richness there. Then 50 years, it almost took 50 years to somebody else to come up with another trait called relative abundance of species. So that was how the history of biodiversity measurements were taking place. Now, what is the scene today? The scene today is two major events has shifted the measurement and assessment of biodiversity to a new level, we can say like that. So what are those two levels? The recognition that biodiversity is a valuable global resource and that it is being lost at an alarming rate. So that is a quite natural feeling, isn't it? When we start losing something, then we started realizing its value. Then we will try to take action, or we will take action to stop its loss. So that realization happened during the dawn of this 20th century, and that is a valuable global resource, and that has to be. So that realization accelerated the process of inventing measures or come with new ideas how to measure biodiversity. Then technology. The second point is with regard to the technology, the computing power. So with computers and all, we know how to tabulate data and have the different sets of combinations. You can analyze data and come up with different types of model. The same data can be viewed in different perspectives and come out with different permutations and combinations of different analysis, and you can give a different picture or a different dimension to the biological diversity available here. So these are the two events that an understanding of the importance and its realization that it is being constantly declined, so that as well as the new computational powers that will help us to measure biological diversity. So in today's class, I was trying to introduce about biological diversity and the importance of measuring biodiversity. So first you have to understand understand well what is biological diversity. Then only you can measure it. So measuring again means there is no single method to measure that. To best capture the whole concept of biological diversity on the ground, it is always better to use a combination of methods. There are several indices available, but choose the best one, and you should also know which are the best ones. For that, you should understand the different biological diversity indices that is available. Okay. So these are all the things that I wanted to discuss in this particular class. So please understand, please read again some good literature that is available by looking into different sources, including textbooks, peer-reviewed papers, and the global scientific databases and all. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day.